Might just shed a tear. All right, still working on doors all these months later. In the messy garage, which my goal this weekend was to get it cleaned up, and that hasn't happened yet. But I have been busy working. Still working on the bathroom door. We have no bathroom door up yet. Went ahead and stained it. I'm using this Minwax Stain and Poly in 1. It's what I used on the bedroom door. It's super hot out and humid, so I hope it dries quickly. I've noticed that it takes a while in this humidity to dry before you can even handle it. I think the last door I did, it took like over 24 hours. Last step in the bathroom door, the doorknob. And this thing was very gross. So I'm saving the best for last here, cleaning it up. It's this interesting crystal knob that does have a lock on it, but you can see it's just kind of, it's not really cleaning up very well. Let's see what happens with Barkeep's friend. Are we really friends? Let's find out. I guess since I'm not really a barkeeper, it doesn't have to be my friend. Oh, it's working. Oh, great. It's working. So you can see the crustiness in there. Let's see if we can get that out as well. I think it's time to change up the pad there. Not sure what this is made out of. It's kind of soft actually, so I've got to be a little careful. I am finally down to the end of working on this door, and I am so excited because I've been working on this door for a long time. Or at least it's been hanging over my head, so to speak, for a long time. So it's finally time to finish it up. So I mocked this up before I hit record, and it went right together, and now it hates me again. There we go. It's a living thing that feels emotions, and I'm just trying to be a good steward. Just kind of makes me think of all these. You know, we've been watching a lot of these shows where they remodel old houses, and where the people talk about their journey to remodeling or through remodeling. And I keep hearing the same catchphrases. It's good stewards. Definitely journey is a key word that they throw in there. Yeah. Nevertheless, we are glad that you are along for our journey as we try and be good stewards, preserving what was for what will be, fill in the blank. All right, hinges and final fit. This door has been in the garage so long, it's so humid out. Actually a little worried it's not gonna fit. These hinges I ended up painting. Went ahead and used some Rust-Oleum paint, just kind of clean them up a little bit. They looked kind of like they had been painted before. They're not brass, they're just plate metal. I guess steel. So wanted to bring some color back to them. And yeah, I think they came out pretty good. All right, gonna tighten up the plates and then we'll put the door on. Hope it's not warped. All right, final fit of the hinges. Just gonna drop the pins and hope she fits. See you on the other side. Perhaps. Now we have a door. Let's see who's there. All right, this has been another exciting episode of As the Doorknob Turns. Another exciting episode of Will It Fit? Another exciting episode of You Saw It. So leave a comment below if it was. Still got the screen door in the shop. Working on the hinges, the doorknob, which is cleaning up very nice. That looks fantastic. That's gonna be really shiny. I was just gonna slap paint on it, and then I cleaned the hinge and saw how nice it looked and thought I should probably get to scraping. Well, I scraped a lot. Using the heat gun, I went all the way around the frame. It's a separate piece of wood, so I have to be really careful. And then these little trim pieces that are kind of holding in the screen. I mean, the screen's tucked in there, but then the trim piece that goes over it, a lot of loose areas. Those nails that they used were rusted out in some places and they needed to be resecured. So I'm using staples and just popping in some staples in there. It's making it a lot tighter, more secure. I use this PC petrifier. It's a one-step instead of the two-step process with the other epoxy that I used in the windowsill in that video. There was a broken piece here, needed to be reattached. Put some wood glue on the ends and then put some of this petrifier in there to harden it up because it was a little rotten. And then as that set, I went ahead and tossed a staple in there. All right, with all this rain, I'm gonna take a break, and that brings us to this video's sponsor.
For 2 years, my workout has been renovating this house. Now walking is a big part of my postpartum journey. Between work and infant and never-ending home reno, I sneak in a quick workout with my Yasol W2 Pro walking pad. With a quiet 2.5 horsepower brushless motor, it's great for early morning walks while everyone is still sleeping. Adjustable speed and adjustable slope up to 10% adds intensity. The LED strips sync with your pace, creating an impressive and motivating workout. Great for a positive and healthy lifestyle. Using the Yasol app will keep you on track with fun challenges. With Yasol W2 Pro, I can work out indoors and avoid the heat or rain. A wide deck combines comfort and performance. Enjoy fun cardio with Yasol.
Appreciate everybody sticking through with us who watches and is subscribed, because it really helps out the channel. And you know, we're still pretty small. Channel's kind of on the cusp of things. So these sponsorships go a long way here, you know, to keep us going, because it really does come down to time, effort, reward when we put these videos together. So yeah, there's no real long-term tests, you know. If we're still wearing it, like those socks, the Camel City socks, then you know it works and you know we really like it, which I was gonna have those on today and I didn't. But today is already my second wardrobe change of the day with, I don't know, somewhere around 80–90% humidity, working in a garage. Tend to sweat through your clothes. So, but I do love those socks. We're gonna keep using the products. That's a good test of it. If you see it in another video, it's because we really like it. And again, appreciate you guys that are subscribed, that continue to watch, continue to give us a like and comment, because all that stuff helps the YouTube algorithm share our videos and keeps us going to keep making more videos, because it really does come down to the amount of time that we have. Done on this side. Gonna flip the door around, give it a second coat, and we'll attach the hardware once it's dried. All right, I think I'm in the home stretch with the screen door, ready to put the hardware back on. Doing a second coat was worth the extra effort to put a little wood filler here and there and smooth it out, take all that chipping paint off. That was quite the challenge, but now it's coming together. And it's looking a lot better than it did. And I'm gonna be excited to put it back up. But before I can do that, I have to tackle the front door. Screen door knob is looking good. Let's use a screwdriver on this one. So the screws are really small on this, and they're brass, so they're soft. I can't get over how nice this looks. Looking forward to hanging this door back up. We'll have that screen door on just in time for fall weather. Well, fall weather in Florida is still months away, but it will be nice to have that big door open, 42 inches across. Any breezes, which our front door faces east, so we get a breeze off the ocean from the east, and it's nice. So looking forward to that. Should be fun in this house. You know, the last couple of years we've been working in there with the windows open and things like that, but never just enjoying it. This year we're gonna enjoy that. I'm really looking forward to it. You can see it came out nice. Got a little bit of clear coat on this, by the way. I just need to get this set screw in. There we go. I can take the masking tape off, and I can then go put the door up. Just have the front door left, and this door is really heavy. It's 42 inches across. We had it off when we had the hinges replaced, and we had the doorway rebuilt, and they put it back on. So I'm not going to be taking this door off. Not going to be taking this door off to refinish it. I'm going to try and do it while it's on the hinge. I think all it really needs is a light sand and some paint. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. All right, this sanding pad is a 120. And you can see it's got some edges to it so that I can get in along some of these trim pieces. Definitely challenging to get in there, and some of it does want to flake off, which I am so fighting the urge to keep picking, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not going to do it. I do want to get around this glass pane though, so I am going to be scraping some of that, but I'm going to give this a once over, and then I'll change it up and we'll do a little more fine sanding. This task is great for people who like details that are very detail oriented, which when it goes smooth like this is very enjoyable actually. Just scraping all that out, and I am going to mask it. So I do want to get all this fine bits of paint out of here. These picks have really saved the day on working on these doors. And also being that it's still really hot out here, like I think it's 86 maybe. So because it's still pretty hot out here, I don't want to take the door off for that reason as well, and then have to either put a piece of wood up or, you know, maybe some heavy plastic or something. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm looking forward to it. See how this on the hinge remodel works. What did you say? The doorknob? I'll show you how I'm taking care of that. Okay, I just put some vinegar on this paintbrush. I've been keeping it damp. I soak it every few minutes as I'm sanding. And look, it's already cleaning up. Just gonna keep that damp and with vinegar while I sand, and then I'll scrub it. So luckily now it's a little bit cooler, still in the 80s, but I've got the room, little entryway here taped off, some plastic So cool enough now on a breezy day to finish sanding up this door with it open. So I was never supposed to pick any of this paint because once I start, I have a serious problem with stopping. I did pick a little bit of the paint right here because one, it was cracked, and two, this is where you're gonna see the door the most. So I really wanted to smooth it out. My wood filler, however, was running a little dry. So I had an idea, and the idea was to add a little bit of this. So you saw me with the PC wood petrifier earlier. I was using it on that door, the screen door, and I've used it in other projects before. This is the one part, the one step, it's all in one. And since this wood filler uses actual wood fibers, I thought maybe if I use this to hydrate it a little bit, and then when it hardens, it'll be even harder. So it's an experiment by doing, and we'll see. Worst case, it cracks and falls off, and you get to watch me do this all over again. Now, masked everything off, and now I'm just cutting out the little scraps around the edges here to try and get them as tight as possible. I think there's still going to be some paint on the glass, and that's okay because we have a razor blade to scrape it off. I know that there's I've seen like a paint that you put on, like a clear coat that you put on windows, and then you can paint them, and then you just scrape that off. But I had the masking tape already, so I wasn't going to bother with buying that. Although I would be curious if I had to do more windows. I don't know if anybody's tried that. Key here is definitely a sharp blade. I started out with a dull one and it kind of didn't work the way I wanted it to. This doorknob is going to be a challenge. This is rusted. This looks good. I can clean this up. The plate. This isn't obviously a later deadbolt that was not originally there. But even that's cleaning up pretty nice. So let's see how shiny we can get this while leaving a little patina on it to keep telling that story. Everyone's telling a story. They're telling you a story, but no one's actually telling the story. They're just showing you stuff. Guess it's up to you to interpret that story. You can interpret this old copper plate any which way you want, I suppose. I think there's got to be something better than telling a story. Got to be a better way to phrase that. Comment below if you have a better idea for telling a story than to say telling a story. You know, the old adage, show, don't tell. That kind of comes to mind. So what story does this tell? I don't think it tells any story, because I think what it really is, it's a representation of the past. It's a representation of what was, how things were. You can interpret that. Maybe that's the story, your interpretation of this. I mean, it tells a story of somebody messed up right here. I don't know if this was stamped copper or what, but you can see the mold is bad. Right there. So that's one story that it tells. But I think preserving it is important. You know, when we took this door off, when they had to rebuild this whole front entrance, the contractor wanted to put in a square door and reframe it and just put a new door on. And we laughed at that because that wasn't going to happen. This door is such a statement piece. that we had to preserve it, had to keep it on here. And then they were going to put all new hardware on, which they took our old hardware and hinges anyway. They took our old hinges and they were going to put all new stuff on, and we were like, no, absolutely not. We want to keep this the way it was probably in 1923. I don't think it's been replaced. If it was very early on that it was replaced, or somebody found an old doorknob from the 20s and put it on. Who knows? All depends on how you interpret that, right? I'm gonna guess it's original because it's not lined up very straight. Now, I think it looks like they took it off at one point to paint the door, and when they put it on crooked. So there's another story for you. But what do I know? I'm just a middle-aged guy who's trying to paint a door on a hinge. So, judging by that story, I would say not much. It all depends on how you interpret it. And for those of you that don't know or don't understand, that's what history is. It is all interpreted. When we don't actually have someone telling us exactly what it is or what is said or what was meant by it, we have to just interpret it. Especially like archaeologists, when they find their little statues and symbols they can't decipher, and every one of them is for religious purposes. Personally, I think some people sometimes just get bored and they make little fat statues. I know I do. It's called a doodle. And my notebooks at work are completely filled with them. The story continues. Just gonna put a little clear coat on it, you know, to preserve what was, so people in the future can see what is. Hopefully they don't see that run. A lot later in the day than I was hoping to get this done, because we have to leave it open to dry, and was hoping to get that done during the day. One thing I was curious about, I was kind of curious what you guys are watching. You know, we have our home shows that we watch, you know, abandoned $1 house. We really got into the abandoned house stuff because, well, that's what we're doing. So there's a few people that we like to watch every once in a while. So I was just really curious what it is other people are watching, what it is about that channel that you guys like. And if there's anything about this channel that stands out, we'd like to know, so we can continue to bring content people want to watch. Like I said earlier, time is an important thing. the value of time is really the only thing we have to barter with. And this channel takes a lot of time, believe it or not, because I don't script anything, at least nothing that I say to you. All right, at least it's a breezy day. Hopefully that will help in the drying processes. And I'm gonna finish up. It's looking good. Once this is all off, I think it'll be time for the final reveal. And yet another project is done as fast as we can get them done. Oh, here we go. The finished door, finished screen, finished front porch. In another video, you guys saw me paint the floor and paint all this trim. And now I've finally completed the screen door and our beautiful arched door. Finished doorknob. I added this little copper inset for the screen door to catch. I do have to drill a little hole because the screen door actually locks, and I want to be able to do that. All right, everyone, thanks for watching.